Young Player of the Year was the nominations were announced today, and there was a few. I actually forgot that Ryan Gravenberch was 22, about to turn 23. I thought he was actually older than that, but that's a by the by. The names of players on there, there is. I'm just gonna get it up in front of me now. There is obviously Ryan Gravenberch is on there. The Lap's on there, and rightfully so. Elanga makes a lot of sense. Dean Howson has to be there. João Pedro, I was a little surprised by. I thought he's had a good season. I wouldn't have put him in that category. But like I've always said, they like to get loads of clubs involved in these things. Morgan Rogers, absolutely. I'm shocked to see Palmer on there because the man went 4 months doing nothing. And he had a very good start to the season, but I wouldn't have shortlisted him. Saliba's on there. Now, Saliba's amazing, but he's 24 years old. And for me, they've got to do something about a player that's 6 or 7 years into their career and is 24 years old being nominated. But why the hell is Miles Lewis-Skelly, an 18-year-old in his breakthrough season, who individually has been brilliant, right? And he's also in the team that's second in the league, by the way. Some of the people that have been nominated here got relegated, right? So it's about individuality, not your team. How has Miles Lewis-Skelly not been nominated?
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Bergvall should have been nominated as well.
Great shout.
All right. Let's
you take
I can hear Lewis-Skelly, but
Bergvall's been unreal. Bearing in mind he scored the goal against you lot in the semi-final.
I wonder what happened in the second leg of that one.
No, he's still trying to win the big game.
He's been our best midfielder this season.
Yeah.
Yes, his competition has been Basuma.
No, it hasn't only been Basuma. It's been
Bentancur. Oh, not Bentancur. Oh, well, in that case.
You're so disrespectful, Thomas.
Yeah, you are a little bit on Bergvall.
You are sick. If we're talking about the fact that, we shouldn't really be including teams at any of the bottom of the table, you're 16th.
What happens if Bergvall comes off the bench?
Hang on. But we should listen. This is not about what a team. It's about individuals' performances. So anyone can be in it wherever they are in the league. It doesn't matter that they're 16th, because I know they're 16th. But you had players from your Liverpool teams. You said that your Liverpool teams are crap that Gerrard was in. You had teams that finished like 7th, but he was still nominated for things. So we know it's not about team performance, about individuality, and the Lap's rightfully there. So let's put that aside. Why do we think Miles Lewis-Skelly has not been considered? I really want to understand what you guys think of that.
It could be because he only made his debut in December, so like some of the season had already gone, or not.
The problem there is Palmer. I'd understand that with every other player, but Cole Palmer being there, despite the fact he didn't turn up from January to April, kind of skews that, because it kind of shows you just have a really good 4 or 5 months. You can get in there off hype. And Lewis-Skelly's had a good 4 or 5 months.
I think it's just an agenda. Like, I think no matter what this kid does, I think that, like, there's the what's the saying? The guns are out for you, or is that? I've probably butchered that, but yeah.
Maybe it's his disciplinary record as well.
That's a good point.
Now you're just answering. What disciplinary record? He had 1 red card, and the other one was rescinded because it was a refereeing mistake.
But there's still one more than Bergvall did. I'm just saying.
Okay, now you're just talking shit. I get it. I want to know, how do they vote for these things? Is it fan voted, or what is it?
No, it's they've got a panel, haven't they, that do it. I don't think fans have anything to do with it.
Okay, because to me it just seems spooky, because sometimes they exclude nominees because they feel like, oh, they might get it next year, or they might get it a year from now. So maybe they're just saying, oh, let's not give it to the super young guys because they're going to have a couple more years to win it. But the guys who are like a little bit older, give them 1 more year. Like, I don't think Saliba should be on there personally, even though I'm an Arsenal fan. I'll be honest. I think he's kind of maybe outgrown it. When it comes to Phil Foden, we've seen him win it many times, even when he was a little bit older. And who else has done that? We've seen
Raheem Sterling won it after 400 career appearances.
I thought they changed the rule where when a player hits 23 at the beginning of the year, they keep them in, but they should take them out. They should really.
So it's 2 different ones, Agal. So PFA Young Player of the Year changed that rule. So PFA Young Player of the Year is now you have to be 21 or under. Premier League Player of the Year is 23 under the start of the season. So
Well,
PFA Young Player of the Year is the more accurate one for this case, and that's one I expect Lewis-Skelly to be on.
Also, I think if you win it, you shouldn't be able to go back into it again. I don't think you should win. Say you're 18 and you win PFA Young Player of the Year at 18. You should not enter it again for the next 4 years and win it every year. It gets to a point where you need to graduate from being the young player.
I feel like the Young Player of the Year award should be changed to the best breakthrough player. So the player who made, and it could even be an older player, but it could be a player's first season in the Premier League. But for instance, like Haaland when he came, even though he was quite young, the season he had, it's like, well, he's nominated for Player of the Year, so he's not in breakthrough player. But because breakthrough players are often not the best in the league that season. I almost feel like I don't see how we can have players. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's no, not most improved, because I still think there should be an award.
Most impact.
I'll give you a great example of a player. I think a lot of those players on there, with the way the Young Player of the Season award is what it is, they're rightfully there. But I look, for instance, someone like Archie Gray, 19 years of age, played in multiple positions, individually. Forget Tottenham's league position. Individually brilliant this year, 19 years old, his first season in the Premier League. It's players like that I want to see put forward for these awards. Mainu last season, breakthrough campaign, played individually very well, went on to win, get a man of the match in an FA Cup final. That is like, it's breakthrough season, your first, and I don't even think it should be players you buy. I've changed my mind whilst talking. It should be young players who are making their appearances in their first Premier League season. That, for me, it would make it far more prestigious. Then you just go into the mix for being either the best player or not, or you're not the best player. Because for me, having 23 and 24-year-olds up against players that are 18 and 19 is a madness. It's an absolute madness. Some of these guys are halfway to retirement. Do you know what I mean? And they're getting called young players. It's ridiculous.
But Terry, there's no 18-year-old on that list. All of them are 21 plus.
There you go. How many starts for Skelly at?
Sorry?
Lewis-Skelly right now is 18.
Listen, this is true. Nico O'Reilly is a name that, again, I just want to see these young players that have broke through. We've gone, because we do judge them differently. A lot of people saying Archie Gray's not been very good. I think a player that's been played in the positions he has this season, all things being equal, I was impressed with him. And that's why I think it should be about young players, fledglings, and how well they've done in the context of being 18, 19 and breaking through, not somebody going into the 6th or 7th professional season of their career and doing really well. I just feel I don't know. It feels a little bit like, let's stick a few names in that won't win the Player of the Year, but we'd like them to, because they've got more chance in this category. I just find it a bit odd, personally. But Lewis-Skelly not being there, I think, is ridiculous. That kid has been sensational this season, and I expected to see his name on it. And but I think I know you were on a wind-up, Kate, but I do think there is a genuine agenda against this young kid, like a real agenda against him in terms of the narrative. We saw what happened with the nonsense about the clapping. The amount of lies, abuse, the racism, all of that stems.
It's because he's not played it. Did you say he's had 18 starts?
Excuse me, what? What are you talking about?
He's had 14. I think he's had 14.
I thought you said how old he was.
I said how many starts he had.
Could you not make it older players like Believer at Brighton?
Let me check.
Even Wanyeri.
He's had 14 Premier League starts, Kate.
He's only had 14 Premier League starts. That's less than half a season. So why should he get Young Player of the Season if he's only played less than half? That's how I see it anyway.
That's a fair point.
Hey, yeah. I honestly don't think it's necessarily a thing where he's going to win it this year, but he could definitely win it next year. And that's why, Terry, I kind of disagree with you when you say breakthrough season. I think it should be under the age of 21 or under the age of 22 instead of having these players who are 23 and above.
Or maybe create a subsection. So you have the breakthrough category, you have the young player category of as you say, that's 21, 22 and below. And then you have Player of the Year. Equally, I just look at it and go, I feel there's a difference, because I look at what Archie Gray, I look at what Lewis-Skelly has done, I look at what Mainu did last year. Someone's breakthrough season and go, wow, look how good that person is for 18. That's very different from watching a young player like Saliba, who is 6 or 7 years into their career. It's a someone says here, Terry, what is it here? Hang on a second. I've got to find the comment. It says, Terry, L take, terrible grammar, but he says, you are suggesting young breakthrough player, not young player of the year. I'm literally, it's not an L take. I'm suggesting they either change young player of the year to breakthrough player, or they create a new category. Absolutely, because there are young players that in their fledgling careers have had brilliant seasons, but they're going up against 24-year-olds for an award. And I think I just find it weird, personally. I think there's
I have a take.
Even guys like Lewis
Guys
Hall.
guys like Ryan
Yeah.
Gravenberch should be rewarded with like a what do you call it? What would you say? Most improved or comeback player of the season or something like that? Because he's absolutely taken a level up with all these other guys. And I wouldn't say he deserved young player of the season award. It's almost like its own category, because we always knew he was so more good, but we never knew he was this good. So he deserves like another level of award.
I don't think Gravenberch is the one you can look at and go, oh, he shouldn't be in the young player of the year category.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm more giving him credit. I don't think it's a young player of the season award kind of thing. I think young player of the season kind of underplays the improvement he's made.
I agree there needs to be more awards, because
Most improved player,
you've got like
most
if you're not player of the year or young player of the year, you kind of, that's it. This is done. There's no sort of acknowledgement for anything else, like best newcomer or whatever.
There should be like a most improved or leveled up or like comeback player, something like that, because I think young player of the year kind of makes it downplays what kind of level of jump he's made.
I think the changes the PFA have done to their one is the correct on with under 21. I'll be honest, Lewis-Skelly missing out isn't necessarily the one that shocked me the most. The fact that like Milos Kerkez hasn't made it, despite the fact he's played pretty much every game for Bournemouth, as they've had a near-on European charge.
Great shout.
Carlos Baleba at Brighton, being one of the best midfielders in the league this season, hasn't made it. It's players like that that I look at. I mean, even one that's mad to me, neither one of the Newcastle fullbacks have made it. They've been arguably the best fullback player in the league at points this year, and neither one of them have made it. I mean, we say they've been injured. How many games Lewis Hall played this year? Because I know he got injured right before the cup final. So that was 2 months ago. Tino Livramento, I think has been, if he's been injured, he's missed even less. If I go look at Tino Livramento's stats, Tino Livramento's played 35 games this season. And
people say this man's forcing a new category just to fit Skelly. No, I was talking about this last year before any of us knew who Lewis-Skelly was, so it's nothing to do with him. I think there is a difference between a breakthrough. I think like they should be recognized for having a brilliant breakthrough campaign. There is something magical about watching a young player with no experience come in and kill it. That's also different because they're often not as good and as consistent as Kerkez is and Lewis Halls and Salibas that have been playing a lot longer. For me, there's a different level of judgment you have on them. There should be different categories for this. But equally, as I say, I just, a few people have mentioned Ahmad, and Ahmad's a good shout for it, but my brain ain't thinking Ahmad because I'm thinking about a player that's been playing professionally for like 5-6 years. I just don't consider them for young player of the year. I feel like young player of the year is about, again, I just felt maybe I'm misremembering. When I was younger, it was always a player who was in his first or second season doing brilliantly. And maybe they won it a few years on the bounce. But once they got to like their early mid-20s, I just don't feel like they were. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's nostalgia creeping in. It just feels something off. And Kerkez and Baleba are great examples. More individuals that should be mentioned in this. 110%. They really should. They really should, in my personal opinion. Again, I didn't say I'm mad. I'm talking about what your people in the comment section are saying, my friend. Chat to them, not me.